Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Atheist Experience. I'm your host, Matt Dillahunty. Joining me this week is Don Baker.
Good to be here.
There was another extra. We got an extra graphic, a bonus graphic.
I didn't see it.
How's everybody doing? We're live. Today is Sunday, January 27th, I think, 2008. This is a live, interactive, public access television program sponsored by the Atheist Community of Austin that allows atheists the opportunity to interact with the public, answer questions, correct some misperceptions, have discussions about First Amendment issues, religious beliefs, and other issues that are relevant to that. The audio portion of this program is available for download and via podcast at our website, and the video portion is available at Google Video. Our website is www.atheist-community.org. Also at the website is a frequently asked questions page where if you don't get through on the telephone today, or we send you off to the frequently asked questions page, you can find answers there ranging from, what is it you guys actually do believe, to why don't you believe this, and doesn't not believing in God just make you all a bunch of immoral monsters? The short answer to that is no. What, are you kidding me? As I mentioned, we're sponsored by the Atheist Community of Austin, a nonprofit educational organization promoting positive atheism and the separation of church and state. And the ACA has weekly meetings every Sunday at Romeo's on Barton Springs Road, beginning at around 11 o'clock. In addition to this program, the ACA also sponsors a bi-weekly internet audio podcast called The Non-Prophets. For more information, you can find out at www.nonprofitsradio.com. We'll be live again this coming Saturday, February 2nd, Groundhog's Day.
Okay.
Groundhog's Day will be the next show. That's hosted by Dennis LeBay, myself, features Schilling. Occasionally Russell and Jeff D will join us. You can find the archives for the Nonprofits Radio program at nonprofitsradio.com as well. Good little audio podcast there. And for those, we get a lot of email, especially for people who, I just discovered your show, and what they end up doing. And hey, if you can do it, more on you, or good on you. But they go back and they grab the entire archive, or as much of the archive as they can, and they throw it all on a podcast, and they listen to it all just in one straight swoop. I don't even like me that much.
How do they survive?
But I got an email today, an odd one, saying, I've made it through the entire archive, and now I'm in a position where I actually have to wait a week or two before I can hear it again.
Well, they can buy our old ones on.
Yeah, well, they've already heard them, so they're asking, what other programs do you recommend?
All the way back to 2004. Holy moly!
Evidently.
That's dedication, man.
So there's some people asking, what else can I listen to? Do you have any other recommendations? Honestly, I don't get enough time to actually listen to a lot of podcasts. I have a handful of favorites, but I'm not going to pump out recommendations today. I think the best thing that I can recommend is to get active in an atheist community similar to ours. The Atheist Community of Austin, as I mentioned, is a nonprofit educational organization promoting positive atheism and separation of church and state. There have been a number of other groups started around the United States and in other areas in the world, kind of, I don't want to say, modeled after, but using a similar concept and idea. If there's not an atheist organization in your area, think about starting one. It's really not that difficult. Throw an ad in the newspaper, get involved in some online communities. Facebook, my page, or MySpace, there's meetup groups and all kinds of things. You can get started doing that and do something besides just listening. Not that I have any problem with people, listening. I, encourage it, obviously. But if you could create your own podcast as well and talk about things in your area, discuss news issues. And the more voices we have out there, the less obscure we seem, and the more difficult it is for people to mischaracterize who atheists are, what we believe, what we don't believe. And that's a big problem. I think there's a real problem with people not understanding what's going on. I'm not interested in stealing away your religious belief or making Christianity or Islam or Buddhism or whatever illegal. I'm not trying to legislate my beliefs on everybody else. I'm trying to prevent them from legislating theirs onto everybody else. I'll defend to my dying day your right to free thought, free speech, free expression, to exercise your beliefs in whatever way you deem fit until the point where that imposes upon the rights of other people. And that's where I think we need to get involved and active, and not just from the podcast pulpit, I guess, but we're also looking at least in the ACA, since we're located in Austin, getting involved in in a more political arena type area to address issues that are coming up. I know Don's going to talk about a bill a little later on that's something that we should be concerned with and addressing. In addition to the audio program and this program as well, the ACA sponsors a number of social events, including Atheist Happy Hour every Thursday at the Dog and Duck Pub located at the corner of 17th and Guadalupe. We also host a lecture series on the first Sunday of every month, and that'll be this coming Sunday, February 3rd. Our lecture is going to be Dickie Gregg giving a lecture entitled "It's Not About Them, It's About Us," dealing with a case involving Guantanamo prisoners.
Right, going all the way up to the Supreme Court. Pretty important case. So
the lecture series and all of our events are open to the public. You don't have to be a member to attend. We do them as a public service because and you'll notice that issue isn't necessarily religious-based or atheist-based. Mark Lowy was supposed to be giving a lecture about black body radiation. That's been postponed due to illness. We'll be coming back to that. We've done a number of lectures on science things. We're not like the gloomy group that sits around and does nothing but complain about how Christians are poisoning our school system or whatever, which in fact may be the case. We went to an event put on by CFI. The Texas Citizens for Science came down.
I wasn't able to go to that. What happened?
I was packed, is what happened. We filled that Mangia pizza place to overflowing. And we talked a little bit about the firing of Chris Comer. We talked a little bit about the state of science education in Texas with the standards being up for review. The fact that right now the State Board of Education, with 15 members, 7 of which are young earth creationists, Texas is in jeopardy. If people don't get involved and act to protect a solid 21st century science education, we could be the next Kansas. And I don't say that as a slam on Kansas. It's just a simple fact that the situation got out of control there. And, it took a huge effort to get things corrected. These are fights that we shouldn't have to be waging over and over again because the stakes are just entirely too high. The education of the next generation isn't something that we should, toy around with. And for people to misrepresent the issue as, well, let's just teach the controversy or let's teach all sides. Okay, well, then why aren't you advocating teaching the idea that angels hold you to the ground and that's the definition of gravity? I mean, we're talking about science here and what should or shouldn't be taught in a science classroom. But I'm getting off during the announcements and already going down a sermon route, so I won't do that. In addition to the weekly meetings and the Atheist Happy Hour on Thursdays, the cast and crew of this show get together afterwards and go to El Arroyo. The address is on your screen, 5th Street. Obviously, I never mentioned this.
Yeah.
But this is the Atheist Community of Austin, and we give out all these addresses and talk. We're in Austin, Texas. So for those of you who are watching on Google Video or listening on podcast,
that's where that address is.
That's where that address is. It's in Austin, Texas, and I'm not going to read out the address, but and that's also open to the public. Any atheist or atheist-friendly person is welcome to join us. If you're coming down to preach, proselytize, or provoke, please don't. We'll have the phone number for you shortly. You can call in and explain what you believe, why you believe it, and more importantly, why you think anybody else should. I think that's probably the single most important issue. I'm all in favor of people being true and honest to their beliefs. But if you're going to make claims that your beliefs are true in the broader sense, that they apply to everyone, and that everyone should be accepting of these and working together for a common goal, then be prepared to kind of provide some defense of that, some evidence or reasoned argument. As a reminder to ACA members as well, in addition to the Sunday morning meetings, Also, we're putting out the call for newsletter submissions. As a reminder, the February newsletter, I guess, is getting mailed out almost as we speak, or very, very soon.
Monday it'll probably be mailed out.
And so you'll be receiving the February newsletter soon. It'll also be available as a PDF at the ACA website, as are all the previous newsletters. If you have submissions for the newsletters, whether it be a book review, a movie review, commentary, editorial, personal testimonial, you can email editor@atheist-community.org. If you're watching the program via Google Video or even here in Austin and you don't get through on the telephone lines today, or you don't want to, you can email any feedback, criticisms, questions, concerns to tv@atheist-community.org. We can't promise to reply to all of them, but we do read all of them. And we get lots of great feedback from around the world.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing how many different countries and folks write us. It's very nice.
Yeah, and also occasionally corrections. There was one correction we got this morning, which I'm not going to go into detail. It touches a little bit about what you're talking about with regard to hypocrisy. And I haven't had a chance to go back and hear what was said.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, so I'll respond to it.
So there may have been some slight misrepresentation about whether or not somebody's being hypocritical in a particular belief. But we'll take a look at that as well.
Okay.
So how you doing?
Good. Oh, just to follow up on that, I mean, we invite folks to come challenge us. You know, we don't think that we have the truth from on high, right? Come and challenge us. Help us make better decisions. Help us learn. Help us correct any mistakes that we make on the air. We do that sometimes, and we'd like to make them better. Yeah,
our primary concern, I think, is with regard to gaining a better understanding of what is true and what isn't. And while I can appreciate the fact that. I talked a little bit earlier about not wanting to steal people's religion away. I would prefer, in all honesty, a world where there's no religion, but that's based on an idea that I have that so far, until somebody demonstrates otherwise, there's no good reason to believe that. And I'd prefer that we not believe things without justification. But a lot of people will say that their justification is faith, and that it's they may consider this unfair, but I disregard the faith argument immediately because I don't consider...
Well, the 9/11 terrorists had lots of faith, right? And they had more faith than I think most Christians do in this country, right? They had enough faith to destroy themselves, right?
Yeah.
And take out this big building in the process. So it's like, so what? Is that a good thing? Do we want more of that? I don't think so.
But yeah, and I may end up getting back to that later if somebody actually calls in to talk a little bit about faith and what their beliefs are and why. But